I'm going to tell you something I've never said outside a chapel. In 30 years of hospice work, I sat with more than 400 dying people. Most of them were women, and there is a moment, usually late, usually after the family has gone home for the night, when a woman turns her head on the pillow, looks at me, and says a thing she has never said to a priest. She wanted to. She simply couldn't. The words wouldn't come out in a confessional booth, with a man on the other side of the screen and the sacrament waiting. Sometimes the priest was younger than her son. Sometimes he was a fine man, a holy man, but a man. And what she had to say was the kind of thing you say to another woman first, or you don't say at all. So they said it to me. 5 things over and over. Different women in different rooms. I worked Louisiana and Georgia, but the same 5. The same 5, sweetheart. Tonight, I'm going to lay them on the table for you. All 5. Because if you have carried even one of them into your kitchen tonight, I want you to know 2 things before we're done. You are not the first, and you are not lost. Come, sit with me a while. My name is Sister Ruth Bellamy, and I was a hospice chaplain for 31 years before my knees told me it was time to sit down. The first woman who taught me about the 5 things was named Marlene, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, 1994. She was 78, widowed 12 years, ovarian cancer, and by the time I met her, the doctors had given her about 4 months. She wore a strand of cultured pearls around her neck, a 25th anniversary gift from her husband Robert, and she never took them off. Not to sleep, not to bathe, not once in the 5 months I knew her. On my very first visit, she asked the nurse to leave the room. She turned her head on the pillow, looked at me and said, "Sister, I have to tell somebody something, and it can't be Father Paul." Father Paul was the young priest at the hospice. He was maybe 32. I called nobody. I sat down, and I let her talk. I'm going to tell you what she said, but first, before we're done today, I'm going to give you something. I'm going to give you the exact words to say if you ever want to walk back into a confessional after a long time away. Marlene used them. I taught them to her. Keep them tonight, baby, and you'll never have to search for the words again. Before I tell you the first thing, let me set the frame. What I have watched women wake up to on their last day, over and over, is one truth. Shame is the last thing between you and God. And God knows every one of yours already. Every one of the 5 sits inside that sentence. Hold it while we walk through them. The first thing Catholic women don't say to a priest is this: I still talk to him every day. I know he's gone, but I still do. Sweetheart, if that's you, put down the shame right now. What you are doing has a name in the Catholic Church, and the name is the communion of saints. The Catechism, paragraph 958, teaches that our union with the faithful departed is in no way interrupted by their death, and that we can and should remain in conversation with them through the mercy of God. St. Augustine, in the 9th book of his Confessions, wrote a whole passage speaking to his mother Monica after she had died. He was one of the greatest doctors of the church. He was writing to a dead woman. He did it because he loved her, and because he trusted that God carries our words across. That's what you're doing when you say goodnight to Robert's photograph in the hallway. You're not summoning him. You're not conducting a seance. You are addressing him through the God who holds him. That is prayer. Old, ordinary, ancient Catholic prayer. The second thing they don't say is this: I've been angry with God since he died, and some days I still am. Anger at God is faith. It's faith arguing with the one it still believes in. Atheists don't get angry at God, they shrug. Read the Psalms. Psalm 22 opens with a scream. My God, why have you forsaken me? Our Lord Jesus quoted that psalm from the cross. Matthew chapter 27, verse 46. The Son of God in his last hour cried out to his Father with a complaint, and the church put that complaint in the middle of the New Testament for us to keep. The Catechism, paragraphs 2734 through 2737, calls this the prayer of lament. It teaches that when we bring our anger and our grief to God, even in raw, ugly words, we are praying. We are praying badly, maybe, but we are praying. The third thing they don't say is this: I don't know for sure he's in heaven, and I feel like a bad Catholic for not being sure. Now listen, hear me. The church does not require you to be sure. The church requires you to hope. The Catechism, paragraph 1030, teaches that all who die in God's grace and friendship, but still imperfectly purified, undergo purification after death to achieve the holiness necessary to enter heaven. That's purgatory. And that means for most souls, the answer isn't a light switch, either up or down. It's a process, held in mercy. Paragraph 1821 defines hope itself. It says, hope is the confidence God will grant us eternal life if we love him and keep his commandments. Confidence, not proof. Certainty belongs to canonized saints. Everybody else, including your husband, is held in Christian hope. So when you light that candle at St. Anthony's and you cannot say with certainty he's there, you can say, I hope he's there, Lord, and I trust you with him. That's Catholic. That's exactly what Catholic looks like on a Tuesday afternoon in October. Now hear me on this next thing. There are two more of the five. The fourth is the one no woman I ever met said out loud on the first try. It took Marlene 3 visits to get it past her teeth. I'll tell you what it is, but you need to see what happened in her room first. Marlene and I settled into a rhythm Wednesday afternoons and Sunday mornings most weeks. I would bring her a small cup of the chicory coffee she loved from a place off Government Street. She would take 3 sips and set it down. Her hands had gotten too weak to hold a mug for long by then. The pearls at her throat would move when she swallowed. I remember that. She told me the second thing on the third visit, about being angry at God. She said, Sister, I've been mad at him for 12 years, and I never once told Father Paul, because he'd think I lost my faith. I told her what I just told you, that anger addressed to God is still addressed to God. She cried for about 10 minutes, and then she asked me for the coffee back. The third thing came on a Sunday in December. She said, Sister, I hope Robert's up there, but I don't know, and I've been afraid to say that at communion for 12 years. I read her paragraph 1030 out of my little pocket catechism, right there in the bed. She listened with her eyes closed. When I finished, she said, So it's all right to hope and not be sure. And I said, That's the whole thing. That's Catholic. She started sleeping better after that. Some things a woman just needs another woman to say out loud before she can rest. But there was a fourth thing, and it took her 3 more visits to get to it. I could see it in her face. She'd start a sentence, stop, look at the ceiling, and change the subject. She'd ask me about my grandmother in New Orleans, about the parish where I grew up, anything to slide past the things she couldn't say. On the 5th visit, I remember it was January, a cold day for Baton Rouge. My hands wouldn't warm up in the room. She reached over and squeezed my wrist, hard, harder than a woman that sick should have been able to squeeze. She said, "Sister, I have to tell you something, and I need you not to look at me while I say it." I turned my face to the window, and she told me the 4th thing. I need you to understand something before I tell you what she said. Because if you don't understand it first, you might hear it wrong and pack it up with your own shame and take it to bed with you tonight. And I will not have that, not from you. So let me explain, and then I'll tell you what Marlene said. Here is what I want you to hear. If your husband was sick for a long time, cancer or the heart or dementia, one of the slow ones, you did not just lose him the day he died. You lost him in pieces for years. You watched a man you knew become a man you had to feed with a spoon. You lifted him. You changed him. You slept sitting up in a chair beside his bed because he would panic if he woke up and couldn't see you. You held a whole household together with hands that were also getting old. And when he finally went home to the Lord, something in your body let go. Not because you didn't love him. God in heaven knows how you loved him. Because a body cannot carry that weight forever. And when the weight is lifted, the body knows before the heart does. That letting go, that soft secret exhale you took the first night alone in the house, has a name in the Christian tradition. It's called the mercy of an ending. Saint Paul knew about it. Philippians chapter 1, verses 21 through 23. For to me, to live is Christ, and to die is gain. I am hard pressed between the two. Paul is saying that for the one who suffers, and for those who love the sufferer, death is release, and release is allowed to feel like release. Now here's what Marlene said, with her face turned so she didn't have to look at me. She said, "Sister, when Robert died, when they told me it was over, for 1 second, before I cried, I was relieved. And I've hated myself for that second every day for 12 years. Baby, listen to me. Ask any woman who has walked a husband through years of dying whether she felt some relief when the suffering stopped. If she is honest, she will tell you yes. And the ones who say no often mean yes, but I can't say it. This is love that carried a body for years and finally set it down. It carries no failure, none. You want to know how I know? I saw it 400 times. 400 faces of women, exhausted past exhaustion, looking at their dead husbands with a sorrow so deep, and underneath it, a stillness. That stillness is your body thanking God on your behalf that the suffering, his and yours, is finished. It carries no betrayal in it, none. If you have carried that shame for years, I want you to lay it down tonight, right there in your kitchen, right there in front of his photograph. Say to the Lord, I was relieved when the pain stopped, and I loved him with all my heart. And both of those things are true. Both of them. Both. Now, the fifth thing is the one that brings us back to the door of the church. It's the thing that made this whole video worth making. It's the reason I called it what I called it. The fifth thing Catholic women don't say to a priest is this: I haven't been to confession in a long time, and I don't know how to start again. I have heard it from women who stopped going after their husband's funeral because the priest said something clumsy, from others who stopped in their 40s because a hard confession went badly, and from women who never stopped exactly, but the years slid by, and now it's been 22 years, and how in the Lord's name do you walk back in there? Marlene said it to me on the 6th visit, and I'm going to tell you what I told her, and I'm going to give you the exact words. But first, you need to see what happened next in that room. I called Father O'Connell. He was the senior chaplain at the hospice, a man in his 60s, quiet, patient, not young, not Father Paul. Marlene had asked for him, and I brought him her request the same afternoon. He came the next morning. I stayed in the hallway while he was with her, because that is where a sister belongs, outside the door of a sacrament she does not administer. I could hear the low murmur of her voice through the wood, and then the low murmur of his. It went on a long time. When he came out, he touched my shoulder and said, "Thank you, sister." He didn't say for what. He didn't have to. Marlene made her confession that morning after 29 years away from the sacrament. She received the Eucharist for the first time in almost 3 decades that same afternoon. I was in the room for the communion. She held the host on her tongue for a full 10 seconds before she swallowed, and she cried without making a sound. She lived 17 more days. On the last day, it was a Thursday, the 2nd week of February, she asked me to open the drawer of her bedside table. There was a folded piece of yellow paper inside. She said, "I wrote this in October, before you and I started. I want you to read it to me, sister, out loud." I unfolded it. The top of the paper said, "To whoever reads this when I'm gone." Below, in her old handwriting, was a list, every one of the 5 things, written out, each one followed by the same sentence, "I never told anyone." At the bottom of the page, added in a much shakier hand, in ink that had barely dried, "Robert, my love, thank you for dying, because it forced me to find the voice I had spent a lifetime hiding. Sister Ruth heard me, and I finally went home to the Lord I'd been fighting with. I'll see you soon." I read it to her. My voice broke twice. When I finished, she pressed the pearls at her throat with 2 fingers, closed her eyes, and said, "Shame is the last thing between you and God knows every one of yours already." I had told her that sentence in October. She had made me repeat it 3 times, and now she was giving it back to me in her own voice on her last afternoon. She died 6 hours later. The pearls were still on. The yellow paper was still in her hand. Now the gift I promised you. If you have been away from confession for a long time and you don't know how to start again, these are the words. I taught them to Marlene. I've taught them to more women than I can count. Write them down tonight if you can. Keep them in your prayer book. Keep them under the phone on the kitchen counter, wherever you'll find them the day you decide to walk in. Here they are. Slow. Take a pen. "Father, forgive me. It has been." And here you say how long. You don't need to be exact. If it's been so long you're not sure, say many years. That is fine. The priest has heard it before. Then say, "I am here because I want to come back. I don't remember all the words. Please help me." That's the whole opening, my dear. That sentence unlocks the sacrament. Any priest worth his collar will take it from there. He will walk you through the rest. You do not have to know what to say. You only have to walk in. The words one more time, so you have them in your ear. Father, forgive me. It has been many years. I am here because I want to come back. I don't remember all the words. Please help me. Put them in your Bible tonight. Put them next to his photograph, whichever you'll see first. You've kept an old sister company today. You told me a little bit about yourself just by staying to the end, and I am glad you stayed. Come back and sit with me a while another day. And before you go, do me one favor. Down in the comments below, tell me his name, his first name, whoever you talked to in your kitchen tonight before you fell asleep. I keep a notebook, you know. I'll pray for him this evening by candlelight. I always do. Good night. God love you.